I'm getting a drink. I'll be right back. I'm not doing this. The new design aims to reduce spotting overall and remove unintentional spotting by aircraft, as well as make AA more impactful while ensuring aircraft carriers remain viable at all times. So, my thing is, this is really only addressing one of the true gripes of CVs, which is there's nothing you can do. You just get fucked on. Improving interactions between ships and aircraft, making them easier to understand. Okay. Make changes to some of the older systems tied to aircraft for better quality of life. I mean, this is already counterintuitive if we have this many points to make. Doing everything except making it intuitive, 100%. Shell explosions, flak have been completely removed. Okay. My hot take is that I kind of like that, but I also kind of don't. The reason why I don't like it is because I actually think it's not a bad theory that CVs with higher skill can mitigate AA damage. That might be a hot take, where we all hate carriers, fuck CVs, but I actually like that there's some minuscule amount of skill in dodging flak. It's not hard, but I played Def AA full AA spec Austin, and like the amount of CVs who gobble flak are insane. You just squad wipe them insta. So, in a way, I like it because there's a lot of ships where if you don't hit flak, you do 0 plane damage. But I also don't like it because then it's dumbing down the game. It's dumbing down the game. That's my problem. But I mean, if they boost AA across the board, then like that's probably overall good. I would say maybe. I don't know. Dumbing down the game to me a little bit. It's not that big of a deal, but crazy. I mean, I think it's fighting words to say that the average super tester knows what the fuck they're doing, because fact check false. Fact check false. Patrol fighters. Recon. Okay, so the flak's removed. DFAA won't prevent. Okay, so they removed the blinding effect from the AA. DFAA. Okay. Ships with DFA will also get a new consumable in the same slot. Okay, so you have to pick. So how does this work if you have... Okay, so if you have like Hydro or DFA choice, you now have a third choice. It decreases incoming damage from aircraft and all types of torpedoes. What? The consumable directly decreases incoming damage from aircraft. That's good. And all types of torpedoes. Why would you ever add that to this game? Torps are already like the most RNG inconsistent way of dealing damage in the game. And we're going to give you a consumable that just insta removes torp damage? So rather than shooting, because you're giving up Def AA, so rather than doing more damage to planes, you're going to make the planes do less damage to you and like. So why would you ever run Def AA then? Imagine playing a torp boat. Yeah. Imagine. Why would you ever run Def AA when you could run that? Holland in shambles? Well, how much is it going to reduce the torps, bro? Battleships with Def AA will be obscene. Like Vermont and Wisconsin in Tier 10. Thunderer? Ships that are already kind of only countered via torp alpha because they have insane healing and DCP usage. Jaeger in shambles for sure. Common torp Bodell. Dude, that's like crazy to me. Now that they also remove flak, that's a very good point, Alberto, because def AA kind of only infuses your flak, right? Most def AA is 1.5x continuous damage and 3x or sorry, yeah, sorry, not 4x because it's plus 300%. So you get a 50% bonus for continuous and a 300% bonus from flak. So now that the flak bonus, yeah, it's a very good point, Alberto. Very good point. Why would you ever run def AA if this is how this is going to work? Especially because a lot of ships with def AA don't really shoot planes down. Like Vermont doesn't really shoot planes down that well if the CV knows what it's doing. Will you at least have to pick a side to use it on, or will you just like literally hit a button and any torp doesn't damage you? Okay. Ships with defensive AA fire. Oh, we already did that. Can't spot ships. That might really fuck like Napo. Various UI improvements have been implemented. How will that work with Napo? Because like that's half the value of Napo as you get the fighter. Make mechanics easier. I don't know how this makes anything easier to understand. Like maybe there's like 4 lines of text on your screen at all times. Hybrid ships will have their aircraft behave in the same way as those originating from aircraft carriers. So hybrids are going to be really bad now. I like it. I mean, I think that's crazy to like nerf a whole class of ships that you claim are balanced. But that's a giant nerf for hybrids because hybrids only have one attacking flight. So if you travel for free, like yeah, you'll be able to run around the map for free, but like you won't be able to like really spot anything with hybrids anymore. This is good. Fuck hybrids. I mean, I personally like it, but if you're claiming that like Hildebrand and Kearsarge and all these ships are balanced, then how are you going to giga nerf them? Okay, the overall concept hasn't changed. They're going to add spotter for Napoli. Yeah, but spotter's not as good for what Napoli does. The reason why the fighter is mega on Napoli is because of the reload time of fighter planes. You always have it when you smoke. So, yeah, if they give Napoli a spotter plane, it will still have the ability to spot for itself while it smokes. But unless they drastically tweak the way the spotting plane works, then that's going to be awkward because you won't always have it. Like again, right? If we go to Napoli, and we go to consumables, and we go to the fighter plane, it has an action time of 1 minute, but it reloads in 90. So you always have the fighter plane when you need to smoke rush somebody. You don't have to think about it, right? Whereas if you look at like a normal spotter plane, right? Like Hindenburg, a normal spotter plane is down for 4 minutes. So is it going to work like a normal spotting aircraft? Or is it going to have like the reload, right? Does that make sense what I'm saying? Like you'll have to be careful of when you use the spotter plane. And if you're in Napoli and you smoke and use a spotter, you actually won't have the spotter back when your next smoke is ready unless they tweak the cooldown of the spotting plane. Or are we just going to see like eye in the sky Napo? Eye in the sky Napo just kiting, HE farming in the kite. I don't know, dude. Then again, right? So that's one downside. But then again, if you run range mod on Napoli, you like ridiculously buff your medium range dispersion. So imagine if you're broadside to Napoli at like 12 kilometers and it's running range mod and then it pops a spotter plane and it has like Elbing dispersion. That would be pretty cool. You literally would just 9 out of 9 Citadel everybody. Doesn't the spotter radius go out further than fighters? If so, probably get shot down quicker. Well, it also has less HP, I'm pretty sure. Don't maybe quote me on that, but I'm pretty sure 3 fighter or the squadron of fighters takes more. We'll ship 2. She'll tell me what the HP of them is. Maybe in the game. Let's check real quick. Let's check Napoli. If it'll tell me the health of the plane squadron, maybe. Yeah, okay. I'm sure somewhere someone knows it or can look it up, but I want to say that 4 fighters takes more to shoot down than the spotting plane, but I'm not positive. I could be wrong. Okay. Check the viability of the concept. We are satisfied with the results. Okay, I'm back at the top. So this is probably just going to be what's in the game, I would assume. Okay. All right, now we're back in... Okay, we're back where we started. Travel mode, right? You're playing... You won't be able to spot, but you can detect... So planes can spot each other in travel mode, but they can't spot ships. And the planes can be spotted by ships. So planes only spot other planes in travel mode. They travel faster. This is what we were getting at earlier talking about FDR. You think the spotter is more tanky? Interesting. I just don't know. I'm not sure, to be honest. Could probably test it in a training battle. Well, actually, I probably couldn't because I would need an enemy plane to have the spotter. You can adjust the speed using... So they have like a throttle? That's interesting. Safe from AA, but can be damaged by fighters and interceptors. Sure. Fighters do not need this mode and remain vulnerable to AA fire at all times. Sure. That's actually kind of stupid. Am I crazy to not liking this? Because if the fighters aren't going to spot a surface ship, then there's no value for the surface ship to shoot them down, aside to prevent their own carrier from being fucked by. I would actually much prefer the fighters couldn't be shot down. And then you could actually drop utility fighters. Like, is that crazy? I feel like that's not crazy. Like, if you couldn't shoot the fighters down, they're not going to spot you anyway. So the fighters aren't giving any value against the enemy team aside from deterring their carriers. So I would almost prefer that the fighters couldn't be shot down, and then we just could have CVs trying to counter each other. I don't know. It's probably whatever. Bring back the speedometer, so that's like the throttle. Enhancing the aiming UI to make it feel more like traditional flight simulators. Engine boost bar is removed and your ability to increase the speed is no longer limited during travel. A new consumable that increases the max speed in all 3 modes. So planes are going to... CV sniping is back on the menu, is it not? Like, if your planes can't be shot down, what in the world is preventing you from CV sniping every game? Because you're going to be able to just beeline the whole squadron across the map to drop the enemy CV and not lose a plane while doing it, right? I feel like this has a big potential to lead to more blowouts because I just feel like good carrier players will have like 100% snipe success rate on the enemy CV. Will they not? I don't know. I mean, maybe not. I feel like that you will just always be able to CV snipe now. Because you won't lose like right now the hardest part of CV sniping is getting across the map with your squad intact. You have to sometimes you have to go all the way around the perimeter of the map. I don't know. We added UI, more UI developments, recon mode. Fighter planes will detach from your squadron and briefly descend. So it's like a mini fighter squad that comes back up. So okay, so I understand that you won't be able to permanently spot hover people, right? We've gotten rid of that. But let me ask you a question. If you're in a Shimakaze and you're just trying to flank, isn't this like borderline more toxic for you? Like, obviously, if you're in a destroyer in front of like 4 or 5 enemy boats and the CV hovers you, that's more toxic because you're going to die to all his teammates. But like, if you're just trying to make plays in a DD, you'll never be able to stop the intermittent spotting, even if you have decent AA, because the planes will stay in travel mode and he'll just feed you like one plane at a time while intermittently spotting you. Like, won't you, if you're in a destroyer with decent anti-air, right? Not like you can prevent being dropped on, but like the CV can't hover you for a minute at a time. Won't this be more of a grief? Am I tripping, or is this more griefing? Because like, let's say you're in a Holland, it's going to be more like right now. Let's say you're in a Holland and a full squadron of midway planes hovers on you, right? You can probably shoot them all down in what, 30 to 60 seconds. But let's say the midway is spotting for a Venezia. So he goes in travel mode and you can't shoot down a single plane. He then hits Q. The planes descend and spot you. The Venezia shoots you. Venezia has like a 20-second reload, so he's reloading his guns. The planes are back in travel mode. They cannot be shot down at all. He descends a spotting group. Venezia shoots you. You shoot down one plane. The squadron is back. Like, I feel like the potential is like way more toxicity. Potentially. Like, if the CV knows what he's doing and he's like divved with decent players, I feel like this is more toxic if you even have good AA. I don't know though. Once it's destroyed, you switch back to the remaining squadron. Yeah, like the thing will just, it'll feed you planes, it'll drip feed you planes. But the problem is, like, I mean, yeah, obviously if a gunboat is spamming, like if a Gdansk is spamming you, then you want constant hovering, right? But if like a cruiser or a battleship is shooting your DD, you'd actually rather your CV intermittently spot them anyway. This is where the counter to all the player base comes in. Object permanence, possibly. But like, do you understand what I'm saying? Like, the potential of being griefed by spotting is actually much higher. A bad CV will probably grief you less, but I feel like a good carrier player is going to grief your destroyer via spotting way more than it currently does. Way more. I don't know, dude. You can enter recon mode at any point as long as it has more than 0 seconds. However, if you run out of time, the planes will automatically return to travel mode. Each squadron has a recon mode timer that depletes while in use. Can you manually recall them? You can enter recon mode at any point. So it doesn't seem to address if you can recall from recon at any point. And I think that's like the most important part, is if you can recall from recon mode, then this will be objectively horrific. If you cannot recall, like if you're stuck with 30 seconds of spotting at a time, it won't be quite as bad because you'll at least lose planes. But I do feel like potentially it's every bit as worse as bad as the current system. You can enter recon mode. Okay, the planes will automatically turn to travel mode unless you start an attack. We made UI changes. The timer is displayed near the reticle. So that's your recon time that you have left. You're in recon mode. That's how much time you have to spot. See, like, this is my point, right? Because this is only one squad. So, like, for 30 seconds at a time, you're just going to get griefed. But it's never ending. Recon mode can't be immediately activated or deactivated to avoid dolphining. So that's good. But I still think this could be very horrific. Because again, because this is a squadron of planes, right? So like, and once planes enter attack mode, they take reduced damage unless they're changing that too. I didn't notice. But like, even a great AA ship like Holland, like the planes descend and you're spotted and you get crushed by a BB, and then okay, you shoot down like these 3 planes. But then 30 seconds later, it spots you again and the BB salvo's reloaded. I don't know. Manual carrier control of guns. I hate this. I actually despise it. Because I think it's going to be basically impossible to gun a CV and a DD at close range now. You only control the largest caliber guns. Small calibers remain on. Because doesn't, like, for example, Nakimov have, like, Smolensk DPM? Or something absurd? You manually use the damage control once you launch your See, it's automatic again. As part of this change, the settings of fires were adjusted to be closer to those on battleships. They last longer and do more damage. But in turns, carriers cannot be relit on fire constantly, which led to higher damage compared to a battleship. Duration of fire, 45 seconds. Damage per second, 0.3%. So this is a 10% 10%. Wait, so that does no damage. Fire resistance same as on battleships to the appropriate tier. Wreck tough and hard push. Fuck yeah, dude. They last longer and do more damage in total, but carriers cannot be relit on fire constantly. Okay. We've revamped existing AA tools. Manual AA defense can be activated by pressing O. It's just a full aura. Percentage damage proportional to attacking fight's health instantly. It temporarily buffs all continuous AA damage. Get weaker over its duration. In other words, manual AA should be used reactively to deal burst damage to enemy planes. This is my point, though, is like, why would you ever... Or this is not a consumable, right? Yeah, this is like just hitting the O key. Okay, that's not the consumable. We decided to combine the best. When activated, it will cover the whole AA and buff AA damage. Automatic AA is a new tool meant to discourage you from being repeatedly dropped. A special progress bar will charge up while AA is active. It's pretty similar to combat instructions, though progress won't decay if you don't damage enemy planes for a while. At 100%, a passive AA bonus automatically activates. AA will start losing its charge. If it's not attacking planes, it will happen slower. There's no limit on how many times it can be activated, though you won't get any charge while it's already active. Okay. So it's not going to help you from being like Shinano quad dropped because your AA will never stop. It'll only help you if you like run away is what I'm getting. Because there's no limit on how many times it can be activated, but you cannot charge it while the AA is active. Okay, interesting. Aircraft can see if automatic AA. Interesting. Def AA will remain unchanged. We've chosen to preserve the original mechanic. I just don't think you'll ever use this. A new consumable will be introduced. Preparation for a strike reduces incoming damage from rockets, bombs, and all types of torpedoes. Did you guys need any other fucking points of data to understand how much these devs hate torpedo players? I don't like playing torp boats, but they are down fucking bad from game design. That is so insane. Want to provide more versatile tools when dealing with carriers, but that doesn't deal with carriers. That deals with this part. Like, just make it carrier only. When do you use DFAA anyways? Well, my point is, like, certain ships just have free DFAA daddy-o, right? So, like, on Austin, you just get it for free. Worcester, you get it for free. Vermont, Wisconsin, right? Those ships get it for free. But now you'll have a choice. You can keep the DFAA, or you can change it out for the way fucking better skill. Unless new FAA does like plus 100 continuous, but it doesn't address that. You notice this? They don't address it. It will remain unchanged. So that what that's telling me, okay, if we take them at their word, FAA will remain unchanged from the way it works on live server. If we take them at their word, that means that the continuous buff will not change and it just won't do the flak buff. So why would you ever run DefAA over the reduction in strike? Why would you ever run this over strike prep? Because on 95% of ships, DefAA only gives you plus 50% continuous. Doesn't really do anything, right? For this test, concealment will be available only for ships that have access to DefAA, but we might consider giving it to other ships. So, if you are in a torpedo destroyer and you are trying to torp a ship with defensive fire as a bonus consumable, you're just going to go fuck yourself, bro. Just go fuck yourself. Just go fuck yourself. Try to torp Vermont with its cruiser maneuverability, its destroyer acceleration, its 50% repair efficiency on torpedo damage. Oh, and it can just hit a key and your torps do less damage to it. Fucking genius, dude. 30%! 30-second action time! 2-minute cooldown! That's insane. That's actually insane. Holy shit, man. That is one of the... Is this like the dumbest balance change they've proposed like in a long time? 30% torpedo reduction. Here you are, boys. You're in a Holland. All right, you're in a Holland. You're sending out torps. Look at this. 10,700 damage a torp. You're in your Holland sending out torps. And you're on the flank. Balls deep on the enemy flank. And there's a Vermont. And it's time to torpedo the Vermont, fellas. And the Vermont has def AA, which it will be trolling to not run strike prep. And so you're in a Holland. Quick math. Okay, you're in your torpedo spec Holland because everyone on YouTube tells you to build Holland for torps. It's a great torp boat. Your torps do 10,700 damage. Now they don't actually do that. No torps in the game do max damage. In case you're not aware, there is a very bizarre formula. The max damage that a torp does is physically impossible to do. Center hits on ships without torpedo protection will never do maximum damage. It's a lie. It's literally a lie. You can go test this for yourself. Torpedoes actually do between 90 and 93% of their stated max damage if they hit an unsaturated bow or if they just hit center on a DD or a cruiser with no torpedo protection. So Holland torps never do 10.7. The most they ever do is like about 10,000. Because you have to multiply, it's about 93%. On average, it's about 93% the actual max torp damage in this game. I don't know why they have it listed. I think it's a holdover from some weird way they calculated like splash damage from torps. But no torp does max damage ever. So that's your new torp damage. You're torping a Vermont. You're hitting torp protection. You're down to 6,000 damage a torp. Well, but here's the thing. Vermont decided to run the objectively superior strike prep skill. And that's your new torpedo damage. That is it. That is your new torp damage. Any torp damage you have to multiply by about 93% to get the real max damage. You then have to multiply, in the case of Vermont, it's only doing 60%. And then it's only doing 70% of that. So 40%. If you are torpedoing a Vermont with his skill active, you will do 40% of your torp damage. So even with a Shima, 40%. That's your torp damage on Citadel hits with Shima torps on a Vermont. And Vermont heals half of this damage. So you are in a Shimakaze, and you hit a God spread on Vermont. You hit a God spread on Vermont. You hit like 5 torps. Mega damage. 5 torps. You do 50k damage. He hits 1 heal. You have permanently removed 30k from that Vermont with a God torp spread. That's incredible. That is absolutely fucking incredible, dude. You know what? Let's find like the word, just for fun. We're gonna go on a side tangent here. What's like the most horrific high tier case we can find? We need battleships with def AA. Mech, Vinny, Vermont, Thunderer. Wisconsin has terrible torp protection. Vermont might have the best torp protection of all of these, actually. Yeah, it is. And yeah, Vermont has the best one. So Vermont's the worst case scenario. Oh, but you could also run Vigilance. How could I forget, lads? You could be a cringe lord and run vigilance. You could be a cringe lord and run vigilance. Is that plus 7% flat, right? Isn't it plus 7%? Fuck yeah, dude. Let's slap vigilance on this bitch. Let's slap fucking vigilance on this thing, dude. You're torping a Vermont. Your torps immediately do 53% because of its torp protection with 53%. They then do the actual reduction in max damage, and then he has the shit enabled. Oh, I'm sorry, my bad, guys. It's 35%. Your torps do a third of their stated damage. I don't think Thunder has good torp protection. No? Yeah, 28%. It's not great. Vermont is the highest of the ships with def AA. Is I guess the point, right? Of the ships with DFAA, Vermont's the best. But I mean, even ships with shit torp protection, like, dude, that is just insane. Legitimately nightmare fuel insane bullshit. So Shima has 24,000 torp alpha, and it shoots 15 torps. Let's find this out. And the ratio is 0.345. So you could barely kill a Vermont. If you hit all 15 Shima torps, you need to hit 13 torps in Shima to YOLO a Vermont now. I think that's the math. If you hit 13 Shima torps. Oops. Worst case scenario. Yep, 13, boys. Easy peasy. Guys, just hit 13. How fucking difficult. Bro, quit saying that torp boats are bad. Just hit 13 torps on a Vermont in your Shimakaze. It's that easy. We did the math. It's literally that easy. It's so easy, boys. Just hit 13 Shima torps. What's the problem? You're bad. Get good. Get good at the game, kid. Oh my god, bro. Secondary aviation changes? Patrol. Oh, okay. Napoli and Napoli B will get spotting aircraft in the same slot as fighter. So I would love to know the parameters of that, because that could be really bad. 13 is less than 15. Exactly. You can afford to miss 2 torps. Duh. Oh, man, dude. Skill issue. Exactly, Jay Snow. Skill issue. But you better hit all 13 torps at once, because if you hit 12, then Vermont will heal twice before you can torp him. Okay, hold on. We could get even this could get funnier. This could actually get funnier, boys. Okay, so you're torping a Vermont in Shimakaze. Wait, I'm fucking this up. 24k per torp. You hit 12. You hit 12 torps on a full HP Vermont. He is now 99,000 HP removed. He's down to 8,000 health, lads, okay? You cooked him down to 8,000 HP. Well, you have a 2-minute reload on your Shima torps, and Vermont HP cycle takes 1 minute. So, he's at 8,000 HP. And then he heals once. Oops. And then your torps reload, and he's already healed a second time. So now he's back to 44,000 HP. You now need to hit 5 more. So 18 torps to kill a Vermont. But it could get worse, because let's say you miss the next rack. Vermont will heal again, because it has 50% repair on torpedoes. So of that 99,000, 50k is healable. So it will use 3 full efficiency heals. Now it's back to 62k. So you need 7. So you just have to hit 19 torps on it. It's really not that difficult to hit 19 Shima torps. Basically just hit world record Shima damage, Shima torps on 1 Vermont, and you'll kill it. It's really pretty simple. Nothing to be upset about, for sure. for sure. There's definitely Wargaming doesn't just hate torpedo boat players. They definitely know what they're doing when it comes to balancing the classes. Okay, for example, if you're controlling a battleship, a squadron in travel mode won't be considered a threat until it starts descending. So it's just gonna like highlight the planes in a certain way. That's good, sure. Change color to be orange. If it's close to you, regardless of mode, it will turn red. When it starts descending, the indicator will be a dedicated border effect. I don't like that. I don't like border effects at all. Changes to concealment. Base detectability by air and periscope change for all ships. Now, it can't be more than 10 km. Guys, I have a question. Can we read one dev blog where just we don't buff BBs? Can we get through a dev blog with this is only a battleship buff. You understand this, right? Like this is only a fucking BB buff. Detectability by air. What do these ships all have in common, boys? BBs, CVs, BBs, CVs, BBs, CVs, BBs, CVs, CVs. Oh, look at that. We're down to Puerto Rico, which already has better than 10-kilometer air detect. So we're just buffing BBs again. For the lulz. Oh, God. Like, I just... How many dev blogs before there's 0 people remaining that don't understand BBs are the protected class of surface ships? The armor-piercing torpedo skill. On CVs, you mean? Yeah. Until your torp tubes get perma-broken, you just die. Dude, I can't wait to watch Danny get in a fight with a Holland, perma lose one YY rack, and now for the rest of the game, he's trying to torp a Vermont with the strike prep skill with 1 torp rack. Dude, I'll be able to make a YouTube montage of him raging torping Vermonts. The YouTube montage will go crazy. Danny trying to torp Vermonts running strike prep skill. I can't fucking wait, dude. I'm gonna be cackling. Detectability of Jap torp bombers increased. Detectability range of depth chart airstrike fighters. Depth charge air. So we're buffing subs. Let's go. We're buffing subs by letting them see the planes come. Planes take about 10 seconds to drop. So subs now just get to see planes coming 3 seconds faster to dodge more effectively. Amazing. Detectability range by air won't increase when firing main battery guns. That's really good. That's really good. Okay, let's give him a little bit of credit. We can't rage for 10 minutes about this shit and then not give them credit. This is really good. Because if you have your AA shot off, even if the planes are in hover mode, that means like if you're a Shima and there's planes 4 kilometers from you, you can actually shoot your guns. That's good. Sure. I like it. Good change. Good change. Good change. Good change. That's horrific. I don't like that at all. That's just making subs juke airstrikes way easier. You know what? It really is, guys. You notice the wording? Detectability range of depth charge airstrike, fighters, patrol fighters. You know what did not get increased detectability? Airstrikes. Surface airstrikes. Russian game removed extra fire spotting. That's another feather in Lesta's cap for sure. There's a lot of things on Lesta that are way better. You know, we say this every time it gets brought up. A ton of things on Lesta are way better. Ton of things are way worse. You just gotta pick what you hate the most. Just don't play on the server with the shit you hate most. Okay. So I would say, like, in summary, we just have a lot of confusing random bullshit that really won't matter. The Recon mode, I think a good CV player will grief you 10 times harder than they currently grief you, because if you're in a DD, you will be even with good AA, you will be intermittently perma spotted for literally 5 minutes at a time if the CV wants to do it to you. and there will be nothing that you can do about it. Especially a squadron like FDR. Remember, FDR is 7 flight squads, so even if you like somehow can shred every attack flight that recon modes you, you'll still be basically perma spotted for 210 seconds with gaps between the spotting. So FDR will be able to perma spot you for about 400 seconds no matter what your AA is. So if there's like an FDR or another, or like a Malta that's division with a battleship or a heavy cruiser player, he'll just every 30 seconds descend from the heavens to spot you. His teammate will nuke you. You'll shoot the planes down. 30 seconds later, he'll do it again, and it will just never end. You'll never be able to get like a semi-permanent reprieve. You'll never be able to squad wipe it, even with like Def AA, Holland, or Smallland, and you will just be giga griefed for minutes at a time, potentially. But bad carrier players probably won't know how to make good use of that. So I do think that like that change, my suspicion is that bad CV players will be less frustrating to play against, and good CV players will be more frustrating to play against. That's just my theory. We'll have to see, I guess. I hate this. I legitimately hate it. Because from what I saw in the test, the shells are way too accurate, and basically it makes it like impossible to gun down a CV at close range in any DD. You just get shredded. So I kind of just hate that, because that's like kind of, it doesn't balance carriers right, but it makes it rewarding to make an aggressive play to try to kill one. Is you get within like 7-8 kilometers in your daring, and you just mega burst it down with your guns, and you just like will die if you try to do that now because the carriers have so much HP. So I don't know. We'll see. This is kind of like whatever changes. It's just going to depend on the values, right? You notice they don't list values. Right? Like there's no value here. Like, does it give you 50% better anti-air when you've been griefed all game? Does it give you 5% better? Like, most of these changes to me will just depend on the value in the spreadsheet, right? If it's a tiny buff, then it's meaningless. If it's a big buff, then it's good. It's great. I'm a big fan, right? It's like a lot of their dev blogs. They list a feature that could be amazing or could be nothing or could be bad. But because they don't give specific number values, it's like really hard to form an opinion. This is the most horrific thing I've read in a dev blog in recent memory. Also, you notice it just says bombs. You guys notice this? It doesn't say aerial bombs or carrier bombs. It just says bombs. So does that mean when you activate this, you're also more immune to like Golden Lion airstrikes? I mean, I'm asking. I don't know, right? Because again, they're not very specific. Preparation for a strike, incoming damage from rockets, bombs, and all torps. It does not say rock bombs from a carrier. It just says bombs. So logically, again, taking them at face value, this would reduce Golden Lion, Dutch airstrike planes damage by 30%, which would be extremely amazing to have on like Des Moines and Salem in particular, bowing cruisers. Not only do I think you would never take Def AA ever again, but I think you would actually give up hydro on a lot of ships, wouldn't you? I mean, think about it. Like, if you're in a Des Moines and instead of hydro, you can now reduce Golden Lion drops on you by a third and torp damage by a third. I don't know, dude. I don't know. Something to think about for sure. This could be a huge buff to Napoli or a huge nerf. If it's like a built-in eye in the sky, it's actually probably going to be overall a buff. But if it's a normal spotting playing where it's down for 4 minutes at a time, that's actually going to be like kind of a crazy nerf to Napo. Will there be classified documents for torp protection? I don't know. Salem gets it automatically? Yeah. Like on Salem, you have Def AA instead of Hydro. Like, you don't have a choice. You just have Def AA. So, like, you would just run the mitigation. And then, because, I mean, 30% reduction on, like, a GL airstrike, right? I mean, that takes a good triple Golden Lion drop on a Salem is, like, 45k damage. That's reducing it well under, well down to like almost 30k. Pretty mega, could be. Interesting. We're just passively buffing BBs by. We're exclusively giving battleships better surface detect. Like, that's what this is. I love how they word it. Base detectability by air and periscope changed for all ships. It hasn't changed for all ships. It's changed for battleships and carriers. They know what they're doing. They know they're buffing the air detective only CVs and BBs, but they word it, yeah, that's objectively technically correct. The best kind of correct. All ships are now stealthier to airplanes, except every ship that's not a BB or a CV already has sub 7 km. So, pretty cool. Font, good, good, horrible, good. Actually, I don't like interceptors being spotted later. That just helps CVs dodge them. Pretty mixed, I would say. There's a couple of decent things. There's a couple of things that could go either way. They could be amazing or terrible. And then there's a couple objectively terrible things, like that fucking strike prep skill. That's the craziest thing in the game, dude. And I mean, you think about like how AA works, like just kind of as a like quick aside, and then we'll stop rambling. But so you think about, they show this skill, for example, on the Petro, right? So let's say that your choice is Def AA, which now just flat does 50% more damage to the CV, but it has a full aura, right? AA, your priority sector now has full aura. So like here would be here's what I would contest, okay? If you're in a Petro and a full squadron of Malta Midway, pick your poison, right? An entire full squadron of CV planes on full HP wants to drop you. I would argue, DFAA or not, you get dropped twice. That would be my contention in most ships with decent anti-air, is when you pop the Def AA, it kind of makes you eat two strikes. Like, you're definitely going to eat the first one, and then the planes fly through your AA while the Def AA is still up. They circle back, you resector priority sector, and you shoot down a bunch. It drops you again, and typically you've shot them all down. So a full squadron of, Midway, Hakuryu, Malta, FDR, these ships, a full squad of these planes on a ship with decent AA like Petro with Def AA active, you probably get dropped twice and then the planes are gone. I don't think that's going to change. I think running prep strike on like a Petro, you'll still just get dropped twice. And the thing is, even if you got dropped 3 times, you would mitigate so much of the damage that it would still be like even if your only goal, even if all this skill did, if the only thing it did was reduce the damage from aerial armament, I feel like it's still just the objectively better choice than Def AA. J-Town, thank you for subscribing. I appreciate that. I mean, because I feel like, one of two things happens. Your ship has really good continuous already, and you get dropped twice no matter what. Or like you pop Def AA and the flak bursts them down, but flak won't burst people down anymore. So given the fact that they're removing flak and the plus 300% bonus Def AA gives as flak damage, Def AA is just going to buff continuous by 50%. And in my mind, you've either got great continuous and you get dropped twice, no questions asked, or you have terrible continuous, you just get dropped over and over again. And if you have terrible continuous, then this skill is way better. And if you have great continuous, then this skill is way better. Like, what would be the use case for Def AA over this? Like, can anyone think of why you would do it? Like, what ships would have the Goldilocks zone continuous AA power where Def AA changes the number of drops on you with one squad? I can't really think of one. Like to me, when I play a ship with good AA, I get dropped twice, and when I play a ship with trash AA, I get dropped over with every drop. you know? So FA will be better for role playing. I mean, I don't really know, dude. Like, and a lot of squadrons, right? Like Shinano, for example, drops three. There's three planes in a Shinano attacking flight, right? So you're deleting a plane, right? That's effectively what this is. You're reducing the damage by about a third. Huge nerf to torp boats again. Yeah, I already lost my fucking mind about that one, J Town. I lost full on that one. But like, so you get dropped by Shinano, and this is mitigating the effect of one of its planes. So it sends three planes down. They descend from the heavens, three planes. You pop this skill. You immediately only take the equivalent of two torps instead of three worth of damage. Then you hit your thing to do the burst damage. Like, how is that not objectively better than DFAA? Unless you're assuming your DFAA and continuous damage is so good, you're always going to shoot two plane. Like, I don't think that's realistic, though. I don't think there's a boat in the game where this wouldn't be better than DFAA. I don't think that there is. You've got great continuous, and the DFAA or not, you get dropped twice and shoot the squad down. Or like I don't know. Like the ability, this is nullifying a whole ass plane, right? Like Essex drops four planes with four torps, right? Like this is removing a whole. You've by activating this, you've done the equivalent of instantly shooting down a plane, right? I don't know, dude. I don't really know what to think about that. Okay, that was a lot of just blabbing, man. It was a lot of just fucking blabbing. Okay. I don't know, man. My overall suspicion, if all of those changes go live, my prediction is going to be that good carrier players got a huge buff, bad carrier players get a huge nerf, and torp boats not only got griefed heavy by the strike prep, but torp boats get griefed the most by the changes. Because BB's got passive buffs with this CV rework due to the planes, like a bunch of other, for a bunch of reasons, BBs have effectively gotten passive buffed. Imagine Def A plus Strike Prep plus. Well, it says they're in the same slot. So no matter what, if you have Def AA as a choice over Hydro, or if you have Def AA on its own, you can't take Def AA and Strike Prep. But like you would just always take Strike Prep. Like why would you ever take Def AA over Strike Prep? Makes no sense. Especially like with how much. Again, it just says it reduces bomb damage, like GL, Utrecht, Tromp, the new fucking AIDS Duncan thing that's coming. Like, crazy, dude. Actually insane. Actually fucking insane.